Hello and welcome to Design Boss Dialogue, the podcast where bold and ambitious women in interior design come for real conversations to transform and take their businesses to new heights. I am your host, Lisa Marie Elkhadraoui, interior designer and business mentor, here to share my experiences and insights into running an interior design business, as well as empowering you to build the confident, profitable design business you've been dreaming of and truly deserve. In this space, we blend creativity with strategy to help you craft your success and thrive in the world of design. Every episode is packed with unfiltered, no BS conversations, daily inspiration, and actionable business tips to turn your passion into a thriving, cash-rich business. Together, we're redefining what it means to succeed in the interior design industry, one intentional, game-changing decision at a time. So get ready to step up, elevate, and create the design empire you've always envisioned. It's day 14. Welcome back. And today I'm going to be joined by Siobhan Mears, who is a global transformational coach and speaker who supports ambitious individuals who are ready for their next level but feel a gap between where they are and who they are becoming. I cannot wait to dive into today's podcast because Siobhan's work resonates with those who have created real success, yet feel a shift within themselves. They know there is more potential and possibilities available to them. They can sense a stronger, clearer version of themselves emerging, yet their current reality no longer reflects who they are becoming. Siobhan specialises in this point of evolution where identity, clarity and self-leadership become essential, and her own journey shapes her approach with that. Siobhan built and exited her own agency, founded a tech platform, and previously had a corporate career supporting senior leaders. She also brings a strong professional background as a qualified business and launch strategist, which gives her practical insight into ambition, growth, and internal shifts that often follow external success. As an ICF accredited coach, she integrates mindset, identity, and strategic clarity in a way that is both grounded and deeply transformative. And today we are diving into the topic of letting go and shedding what no longer serves us within ourselves and our businesses. Siobhan, it is amazing to have you back. Second year running for the Advent Calendar Christmas podcast.
Woo! I love how festive you are, and I cannot wait for this. I've been looking forward to speaking with you.
This is going to be an amazing episode. I can't wait because last year, just the value that you gave the women and the listeners, it was such an amazing episode. And to be here for the second time running, to have someone like you come on is just an absolute honour. So thank you for giving us your time.
Oh, you're so very welcome. I love what you're doing, Lisa, and the community that you're building. So it's my absolute pleasure to add value.
Thank you. So we are at the end of 2025 and we are about to go into 2026. What is your piece of value that you want to share with our lovely listeners today?
So, it's a really apt point for me to share this, actually. And what I work with clients with a lot is around identity. And stepping into their next level identity. So what I would love, a reflection question for your audience, is what do you need to let go of in order to step into your next level identity? Whatever that is, your next level of growth, where you're going. And I know so many of your listeners, like ourselves, are really ambitious and driven, so they will have a future focus for 2026. And the reason that this is so important right now is some of the listeners may or may not know, but it's the year of the snake, 2025, which is the year of shedding. I've experienced it for sure. I know many people in business and in life have experienced that this year. And what that means is shedding the old skin, like a snake does, letting go of what no longer serves us. Because when we are looking forward into our evolution, and each year we're evolving, especially in business, we are so invested in our personal development that we grow at a much faster rate than we ever did when we were in corporate, because you're pouring into yourself consistently. And in order to do that, in order to move up into new circles, into new maybe tax brackets, whatever that is for you, we have to let go of things. And that can be very uncomfortable. And the year of the snake is about shedding. So I'd really invite the listeners to think about what they can let go of before we go into 26 to step into that next level identity.
I really love that, because I think it's so important to, we touched upon this briefly before we came into the studio. What got you to this point will not get you to the next point. And I think it's about reflection of how far you've come and where you are, where you want to get to and where you want to be. And also understand that some of the people or situations or services that you have had might not be able to get you into that next level and that next part of the journey. And it's okay to shed.
Yes.
It's okay to shed.
That's it. I love that, Lisa, because it's scary sometimes, okay? And that is where the fear, and that's where I help my clients with a mindset piece, that's where the subconscious comes in, is because you might have strategies that really worked and they got you to a certain level in your business. You know, that's great. But sometimes also that strategy needs reviewing, refining, because you're evolving. You know, maybe you're planning to go on bigger stages. Maybe you want to start charging your worth. Maybe you want to expand your team. All of that brings up a level of, yes, excitement, but a level of fear behind that. And that can be healthy if channeled right. And if you really step into that. But we're stepping out of the comfort zone. So the ego can often want to hold us safe. And it says, oh my God, if you charge your worth, if you increase your prices, maybe they won't pay that. Maybe you'll have no clients. You know, what if you let go of how you used to work? People won't respect you anymore because you might have been known for this one area of business. But it's okay to let go, because if we hold tight to outdated ways of working, we will stay limited. We will not fulfill our true potential. And I know that you and I are both ambitious women, and I know many of your listeners are, if not all, that will be following you will also have that drive and ambition. So we have to know that we're creating space. And talking about going into 26, that is the year of the horse. So it's all about building momentum, charging forward. But we can't do that if we're carrying on our back outdated identities, outdated relationships with people in business, maybe that partnerships or whatever it is that no longer serve you. They're not going to help you move forward at the momentum that you want to, because it keeps you in that bubble. It keeps you in that limited mind, which is okay if you're comfortable staying there. It doesn't mean that everyone needs to change dramatically. But I think if you really want to step into your full potential, which I think most of us do, want to see what's possible for us, which I think is really exciting, that comes with a bit of weight, which this year has been about for many people, you know, myself included. There's been highs and lows in terms of shedding old identities, outdated services that you hold on to because people know me for that. I've sold those, you know, that goes well, that's easy. But are we here for easy, or are we here to really access like abundance and evolution?
Yeah, I think that is so poignant, especially at this time of the year, where we really do have to look at what identity have I been? What identity do I want to step into? And then this comes into kind of higher self visionary work, which, you know, who is your higher self? Where is she going to be in 2026, December 2026, in a year's time? And actually, is she still talking the same narratives? Is she still with potentially the same people that's in that comfortable bubble? Is she still, you know, coaching or mentoring or delivering services at that same rate? Where is she? And it's really looking at, you know, where she is and how you also bridge the energetic gap. And
exactly.
With the shedding part of it, and obviously, like you touched on, I was the exact same. We've had situations where we have naturally shed parts of business, parts of circles, parts of people over 2025, but then it's taken us into a next level expansion of growth where we've been able to collapse time and go faster. And the identity piece is really, really key. And with that, I want to ask, when you're working with a woman to support her with her next level identity or shifts around that, where would you start?
Yeah.
Maybe giving one top tip. Where would you start with supporting
Where I
her
would
with
start is
identity?
I would really unpick the stories. So I would start to lift the lid on what you believe is the reason that you can't step forward or that you can't let go, because there will be some resistance. For example, if somebody was still charging their 2020 prices and they were still serving people at a lower level, and that's not disrespectful, but they've evolved. You know, they've excelled in what they're doing. They provide even deeper transformation, all of that, and they feel they're still operating from their 2020 self, for example. There will be a story running behind that. There will be a narrative in their mind that is stopping them from stepping into the next level 2026 self, you know, and they're still behaving and operating from here. So what I would ask them to do, just something they can do themselves if they're not working with somebody like me on mindset, would maybe to journal out on that. Ask themselves, where am I operating from outdated beliefs? And what do I make this mean about me? You know, I've been doing this in my group program, Strategy and Subconscious. And when we're in there, there's people that have had beliefs that are their fathers, for example. It's a story that they have to work really, really hard because people won't pay them unless they're working really hard and over delivering. You know, that's a belief that they've always seen from childhood, that, you know, success comes from working really, really hard. So it doesn't mean that you don't have to put the hours in, but there's other narratives. So I think, first of all, understand where the story is coming from. Before you have to have awareness before you can start acting on it. And often just knowing that this is not your story. This is not your belief. So there's really stepping into the self-worth piece, knowing that you are worthy of this next level. So I would say journaling on that, really being reflective and curious. And then where am I holding myself back? Where am I holding myself back from that next level identity? And another exercise that I do with clients is to really visualize. I know that you're very keen on visualization as well, Lisa. I like my clients to really visualize who they want to be. So I'd love for your listeners to think about where they want to be 1 year from today when they're listening to this. So December 2026. What would that next level version of them be doing? Like you touched on, Lisa. What decisions would she be making? Would she be quibbling over 2020 prices as she builds her empire? Okay, there's a real misalignment there, isn't there? And that's not always without shame or judgment on ourselves, but there's a misalignment. We can desire and wish for this next level version of ourselves, but we're keeping her on a pedestal and unattainable if we're still operating from an old, outdated mindset. So we need to start to bridge that gap, as you say, energetically, by making decisions today, not next year, not in January, not in Q3, Q4 as we go in. It's from taking steps today. It's taking steps every single day. What would she do? I know that you're a real big fan of this as well, Lisa, aren't you? What would she do?
I love it.
Yeah, for my higher self. Because we need to start making those decisions now to bridge us to that person. And when those old beliefs and stories are coming up, start to be curious about them. When you get fearful of raising your prices, when you get fearful of going to speak on stage, be curious and start to explore that inner work. And that can look like different things for different people. I use NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, all different techniques to help people lift that. But even starting with journaling, awareness is a great next step.
I love that piece. And I'm a massive believer in daydream journaling. So actually journaling the perfect day of how you want things to run, and actually put your higher self mindset on and go really detailed into the minute you get out of bed to the minute you get back into bed. Physically journal the perfect day at work, the perfect day in your business. And actually, by doing that a couple of times over the space of a week, you notice the realignments that start to happen in your world, in your business, and with little things that start to, just tweak, and it's such a powerful, because so I have attended one of Siobhan's events. She puts on the most incredible events twice a year, and I attended her summer event this year, and we did, legacy letters, and this is something that I love doing and have done a lot. But when I got to do a legacy letter at your event, it was just so powerful, and I actually can't wait to pull the legacy letter out, coming very close to the end of the year, and look at it again. But doing the legacy letter of in the place of celebration where you are, teamed with the daydream journaling of putting yourself in that current present situation, are two powerful techniques, aren't they?
They are really powerful, and thank you. Yeah, I absolutely love to do the legacy letters. I open mine on New Year's Eve. That is my ritual.
Yes.
New Year's Eve, I open that and really reflect on where the year has taken me. And again, without judgment, because life, and there can be curveballs and twists and turns. And also I take a step further as well, as I really think about my ideal life, because the business should be supporting our life. Where do we want to live? What do we want it to feel like? And, do we want to have a slower morning? Do we want to start earlier in the day? Do we want to finish earlier? What does that feel like? And then you can start to see how you're operating today doesn't quite match that. And we always do this without judgment on ourselves. It's more curiosity. How can we bridge that gap? And also, it's really good to do almost like a personal inventory at this time of year around, an exercise they could do is with a sheet of paper, split it into two, and think about everything about their business, about themselves this year. Then think of their version of them at the end of next year. And you can see, like for like, what this person's doing now and what they're not doing. And you can start to look at the gap. Okay, where do I need to focus on? But also it's really valuing yourself, really, really reinventing yourself, really stepping into that next level identity and knowing that it's not you that's somewhere out there in the ether. Really, it's just a stone's throw away. It's a few consistent decisions. And that is also, when I say the inventory, it's thinking about who's in your circle. Yeah. Who is in your circle? Who is supporting you to get there? And supporting doesn't need, it can be just a soundboard. It can be your cheerleaders like ourselves. We're always supporting each other. And that really helps. But also, what's weighing you down? Maybe it's clients that no longer fit you anymore. Maybe you need to signpost them to somebody else now. It could be something like that, which can feel scary. Stepping into higher pricing can bring up a lot of resistance. And maybe they need a new strategy. Maybe that's outdated now, or it's keeping them at plateau. And they're not here for that.
And I think it's so important to kind of really reevaluate that in the business as well. And I find sometimes when I've been working with women on a long-term coaching and mentoring journey, even after 12 months, they say, well, actually, that group of services that we brought into the business at the beginning, I just don't feel aligned to that anymore. And I'm like, well, brilliant. Okay, if it's not profitable anymore, if it's not working for you, if it's feeling heavy, if it's feeling sticky, then let's just drop it. And let's see, do we implement something else? Or actually, are you happy with the suite of services you have? And does that really align to what you want to do going forward? Because I think a lot of people also think once they start something, they can't evolve or shed services or techniques. And you actually can. Your business should always be evolving with new things you're bringing to the table, or, if things don't outdate. And like you said about the clients, that's a great one, because as we up level and elevate in business, we take on a new type of client as well. And sometimes the clients that we started with or that were in the entry level early stages of business might just not be aligned to the new you or the new growth.
Yeah, and that's so true. I mean, I have really evolved my journey over the past 7 years. And this year, I've gone deeper into mindset. I understand the transformation really works for my clients, but also it lights me up. I used to have more of an operations agency as well, another business, which is systems and operations, but it felt heavy to me. And there was a sense of fear, but if I let go of that, what will happen? And I really did the inner work. So when I'm speaking to my clients, it's coming from experience as well, which I think is really powerful. I understand what it takes. But some clients will grow with you and they will evolve. Some won't. And that's okay. And that is okay, because we need to create space for the ideal life that we want, the dream client that you want. If we're constantly booked and busy with clients that don't light us up anymore, doing services that we dread every time we have to look at our calendar, then that heaviness is not going to take you to your next level. That's going to show up as you're booked and busy. There's no room for what you really want. So we're just going to keep you down here.
Yeah.
So we have to create the space, which I understand can feel extremely frightening in the void. There can be fear that comes up, but I think that comes down to backing yourself. How can you double down on your mindset work? How can you double down on your beliefs during that time, so that that, you've got a great service, and working with people like yourself, Lisa, working with people like me that can support you on that journey, so you're not figuring it out alone, because it can be quite frightening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the one thing that you also touch base on there with the mindset, for us coach and mentors, we have many, many women on our books, and it's so important that we have the right clients on our books, but also we hold space for evolving to allow new clients to come through and experience that. But equally, we are doubling down on our subconscious and our mindset work, because we are the living proof that it actually works. And there's no point in, if you were, I don't know, for argument's sake, I'm going to say a coach, and you were teaching a particular subject or a niche, and you are not doing that day in, day out to yourself, or with how you can up level, you're not practicing what you preach.
Yes.
And it's so important that, I know with you and I, we do this a lot, but, we really go deep with the subconscious and the mindset work to make sure that we are always the best versions of ourselves for all of our clients, to support them in the processes for evolving and shedding and growing and up leveling, so we can get them to their next levels.
Completely agree, Lisa. It's so important. And that's us taking on that whole embodiment of the work that we do. And I think that makes us, these are words that are bandied around, but authentic, because we are living it. Anything that I'm sharing with my clients, I've walked that walk. I've walked through the evolution. I've walked through the shadow times where it's tough and you're shedding and you think, should I? Oh, this feels heavy. It feels scary. I'm letting go. It feels like you're falling into a black hole. But that's when the mindset work comes in, and you double down on it, and it holds you in that space. But I think it's so important for us to be guides. We are doing the work. We are showing what's possible, and we are supporting others to achieve their full potential. And I think there's something beautiful in that. And I think we wouldn't be doing what we do if we didn't love the inner work as well, and working on our business. Like, you're coming to my event, you're working on your business. So you're taking that time. You're not just telling your clients to do it, you're doing it for yourself, which I think is so powerful.
Yeah, I am always saying to my clients, my personal development is at the forefront of everything I do, so that I am making sure that I am the best. Not only have I walked 15 years of construction and property and interior design with my lived-in experience, but I'm also investing in my personal development to make sure I am the best to serve the women in my world. So I absolutely love, when it comes to personal investment, in reaching out on, coaches and mentors and beautiful days like you put on for women, to really support them in that journey and in that next level, which is incredible. And I think if we were not personally investing in our growth as a service-based provider or a coach or a mentor, we would almost be doing a disjustice to ourselves, I think. And I think that is okay to say that, because, we cannot say, oh, I'm doing this, when actually you're not living proof that you're actually doing it. And it comes down to that authenticity piece.
It's authenticity, it's integrity, core values, right? Core values, I think, for businesses like ours. And I think there ends up being a gap there, doesn't there? I mean, I know if I'm choosing someone to work with, I want to see it embodied in their own work.
Absolutely.
I think for me, that's important. Lived experience, their journey as well. I think it creates a safe space, doesn't it? If somebody understands you and the highs and the lows, and can hold you in those moments, I think, and stretch you and challenge you, is so important, I think. But you and I are always investing in our own personal development, in our personal growth, but also in our healing, in our transformation. I think that's so
Absolutely.
powerful. And that's what I'd love for your listeners to consider. What can they really let go of in this last month before the end of the year? And to back yourself and to know that you know you're worth it, you're worth this next step, but also that everything will always work out as it's meant to.
I really love hearing you say that, because I think there's something so comforting for, you know, a woman like yourself to say, just let go and be, but also understand that it's okay to let go. Because I think so many women feel that they have to hold obligations. So many women sometimes feel that they have to hold on to past relationships or situations, not only in business but in personal as well.
It's a full 360.
And it is okay to shed and give yourself the permission to shed and let go if it's not working. And also communicate that in a way that this is why I'm doing it and this is what I'm doing it for.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be harsh. Things can be communicated well. And I think it's about creating space. And we're not saying blindly, just shut down your whole business, forget everything and go. Or in life, we are very much strategic people as well. So there would be a sense of, like you shared, when you're working with clients, and as am I, you'll be thinking, okay, what do I want to double down on? I'm letting go of this because I want to do more of this. You know, there will always be a balance, a yin and yang, that balance. So we'll be looking at what you want to let go of because we're creating space for this. So it doesn't have to feel like a totally empty void. It's more that we are creating a space, a vacuum to be filled by what lights you up, and getting really clear on that, because often when we're in the midst of this transition, shall we say, it's very confusing sometimes. You know, who am I being? What do I really want anymore? You know, I've held this old identity. I've held this old way of being. I'm holding on tight to that from fear. What do I really want? So we explore that curiosity. So I'd invite your listeners to really be curious around, what do you actually want? And this is where the dreaming, where the visionary comes in, doesn't it?
Yes,
you know, dream big. Think about what you want. You're purely creating space. It's almost like when we clear out our wardrobe. Yeah. What are you going to sell on Vinted? What's going in the recycling? What's going in the bin? Let's have a clear out. And we're creating space for those gorgeous bits that you're going to get at Christmas or the new
capsule wardrobe.
That's it.
The gorgeous bits. And
bits that the next level of you would wear. What would she wear? You know, we're thinking a bit like that.
Yeah, her clothes, her perfume, her hair. You know, I always go into my hairdressers every quarter and I'm like, right, what's the next level hair? What are we doing today? What are we going to do? And I just think it's those small little changes for women that look at, okay, how would I maybe change a couple of pieces in my wardrobe for the next quarter? What would she do her makeup differently? Would she maybe be wearing different clothes? Is she going to have maybe a new style of bag, or is she going to take on a little bit different branding? It's not, you know, we don't talk about it like it's a complete overhaul. It's small incremental steps to the next level. And I think you touched on it very briefly there, but the visionary event that I do in January is about really making sure women align with their next higher selves. And what does that reset and journey look like? And bringing women together to look at internally. So, you know, channeled readings, sound baths, Reiki healing, higher self, creating those vision boards, setting those intentions, but also making sure that they understand, what would the roadmap be to get myself to there?
Yes.
So we do the dreaming, but we do the strategy as well.
Exactly.
There's clarity.
Yes. A woman after my own heart. They both go so well together. So you feel held with the strategy, and give you that structure, the backbone.
Yeah.
And then we feel supported to let go and be a bit more free, which I think is magical.
I can't wait. This is going to be a real intimate event to take, 16 women on this journey on the 9th and 10th of January. And obviously the details will all be in the show notes, but it's so important, going back to that piece of allowing yourself to let go, to move forward into the year of the horse, to gain momentum and traction. So Siobhan, with that, what does your year of the horse next year look like? What's exciting things going to be coming up in the world of the Mears Collective?
Yeah, amazing, exciting things. So I have really shed this year a lot. I have stepped into new branding, really bringing in the mindset in the transformation into the work that I do. It's very much strategy, very structural, very much that energy before, but we've been on an evolution and we're bringing in more the mindset. So I've got a fantastic program, which is Strategy and Subconscious, which is running now. It'll be launching again next year, but I'm bringing in my mastermind for the ladies who want to go that next level, where we are really looking at the transformation, the evolution of who you are being, and who you want to become. So that real next level identity. So that's launching in spring next year. So watch this space. And there will be my summer event that you came to this year. That will be taking place next year as well. And there'll be lots more exciting things coming throughout the year. But they're the two things to watch out for.
I love that. And obviously, for all of you can find Siobhan. The show notes below will have all of her details. Please go and follow her across her socials as well as her web pages. Siobhan has got a plethora of amazing tips and insights and values. And I know certainly from me being in your world, it's been lovely to obviously follow your journey and be in your presence.
Oh, lovely. Likewise, Lisa.
Thank you. Siobhan, it has been amazing to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for that gorgeous tip. Let go, shed, and step into that next level. So with that, thank you so much. And I will be back tomorrow with another gorgeous powerhouse, another podcast that is packed full of value for your next day opening the Advent calendar door. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Design Boss Dialogue. If you love what you heard, then please share the podcast with your friends and any women that could do with a dose of empowerment just from me. I would love to hear your thoughts around today's podcast with your key takeaways and wins, because your feedback means everything to me. Also, don't forget to leave a review as well as hit that follow button so you never miss out on any inspiring conversations with me or any other trailblazing women I have on. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes, and remember, unleashing your inner design power and unlocking your true potential is only a click away. See you next time.